Hey everyone, welcome back to Verified Gains. Today is a very important video, so please make sure to stick around. Please subscribe if you have not already. Guys, it's finally mid-September, okay? September 15th to be exact. So, what is going on with the Bitcoin price? Where are we in the cycle? I know you guys have a lot of questions and concerns. I certainly do, so let's dive right in. So let's check out the Bitcoin price chart. So right now, we've since rebounded, okay, from this $110,000 support line. However, we are getting a soft rejection, okay? So, we haven't really hit $117,000 resistance line, but we did get a soft rejection around $116,000. So, right now, please watch my previous videos in terms of why I thought it was going to be mid-September, but a lot of those patterns have since broken. The only one that currently stands is the, you know, the date pattern, where we take the number of days from the bear market low to the halving date and extrapolate that into the future. And right now, that's around September 15th, September 16th. However, if you look at the price chart right now, that doesn't really seem to be the case. Now, if this is the only indicator that you were going by, then you know what? Honestly, this might be the Bitcoin cycle top. Okay. So if you guys think that, 114, 115,000 is approximately the Bitcoin cycle top, right? Maybe, this was the Bitcoin cycle top over here at $123,000. And you're not really losing out much, right? It was just like a 6% decrease from that previous all-time high. And I actually thought about this. So I said, okay, should I only leave maybe like zero point 0.1 Bitcoin and sell the rest? And it's going to be a really hard decision. Now, what I plan to do, if that is the case, is not to simply sell in the form of, fiat currency, but rather sell the Bitcoin and then buy layer one, such as, guess what? Solana. So that is still in the back of my mind. I'm still saying to myself, okay, I'm just going to leave zero point 0.1 Bitcoin and then convert the rest of it into Solana. And I think that could be an okay strategy, okay? Because, realistically, what type of multiple are we expecting in terms of profit for Bitcoin, right? Are you thinking 200K? Are we thinking $1 million per Bitcoin? I mean, price prediction, people can say whatever they want, right? But nonetheless, even if it went to $1 million per Bitcoin, I'll still have zero point 0.1 Bitcoin, okay? So, yeah, in the bigger scheme of things, doesn't really matter. Right now, the main goal is to maximize profit in an asset that is highly likely to succeed. And I believe that is Solana. So I'm still trying to make that decision. Okay. Do I think that this is the top? The quick answer is no. And I'm gonna explain exactly why. So let's turn our attention to this is coinmarketcap.com, and we're looking at the crypto fear and greed index. As you guys can see, we're still neutral. Okay, nothing's really overheated. Okay, we looked at the RSI earlier, right? So let me just show it to you really quickly. This RSI 90. We're not even close to oversold or overbought territory, excuse me. Okay. The crypto fear and greed index still remains at neutral and has been for a pretty long time. Even when it was in the greed, it was never in the extreme greed. Okay. Um, you guys are welcome to take a look at this website and take a look at the different market cycle indicator. I don't really take a look at Pure, but you can see that, it's neither undervalued nor overvalued. I do look at the Pi cycle top indicator. It has not crossed. And right now, I'm not even really taking a look at it because, I mean, we have to reach at least price discovery mode into the 125, $130,000 levels before I'll even bother to take a look at the Pi cycle top indicator. But also keep in mind this is a lagging indicator. Okay. What else? So, there's like the Bitcoin rainbow price chart, etc., etc. Look at how many indicators there are. Guess how many of them have triggered? None. Zero. Okay. So I just don't think, at least based on previous Bitcoin cycles, that we're anywhere near the top of the cycle. Let's take a look at M2 money shift, right? There's something new that we've been taking a look at. And our previous hypothesis was, just to review, okay, well, maybe mid to late September is going to be the Bitcoin cycle top because that's where the M2 money shift had this previous all-time high. However, what do we see over here? This continues to extend to the upside, okay, now into December. And guys, I'm just as frustrated as you guys. I wanted the Bitcoin cycle to end in September so that I could cash out, work on other investments, move on with my life. But guess what? That's not what's happening right now. We have to be flexible. You have to be adaptable. And that's the type of people that's going to make, good profit off of cryptocurrency, traditional equities, etc., etc. You need patience and you need data. So if you just trade based on emotions and you're impatient, guess what? You're not going to make money. This is exactly what's going to happen. You guys are going to sell right now. Bitcoin price goes up. You're like, no, it must be like a bull trap. And then you wait, you wait, you wait until the Bitcoin is actually near the cycle top. You buy in because you're FOMOing, because you have fear, uncertainty, doubt. And then guess what? That's when Bitcoin price is going to drop. You're going to sell at a loss and you're going to lose money. That's just typical market psychology. That's how 99% of people invest. And that's why this is a zero sum game and only the top 1% are going to profit off of this. Okay. So mark my words, you guys heard it here first. Although, that is not an original idea. It's actually quite a common idea. It's just, people's psychology is a very strong, phenomena. We think that we have such good control over our finances. We think that we tend to overestimate our intelligence, but we're actually very emotional beings. And we make a lot of decisions based on emotions. And that's why most people are not financially successful. Like they might be successful in their own little ways, but not financially successful. Okay. So if you do want to be, make sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss out. So next, let's look at Solana. You know what's really interesting about Solana? Solana seems to have a higher correlation when it comes to the M2 money shift graph. It's just something I've noticed. And the only tricky part here is I'm not sure if this recent, run up to the upside is actually correlating with this little segment over here, or whether it's actually correlating one to one, and we're going to see a grand jump in price come late September, which, by the way, happens to coincide with the FOMC, the Fed press conference that's about to happen in 2 days, right? So the argument is, has already been priced in. Is the Fed chair going to cut interest rate? Guys, although there's a high probability, really, we have to wait. We have to wait until 2 p.m. September 17th. And once the Fed cuts the interest rate, that is when everything is going to be absolutely rocketing to the upside. So, you know, I don't think it's quite priced in because I still believe there's a 10% chance that he might not cut interest rate. However, overall, things are looking very bullish. So, because things are looking bullish, what am I doing? Today, I'm going to take the time, today and tomorrow, I'm going to take the time to invest heavily into Solana and my meme coins ahead of the Fed press conference. Now, it's very possible on the day there's a little bit of sell off because people love selling on the news, right? Well, guess what? That's going to be an even better opportunity to dollar cost average in. So that is what we're going to be doing. Next, let's. Oh, but to close the loop on Solana, let's actually hide this. So right now, similar to Bitcoin, we're seeing a soft rejection around $243. However, I was very happy with this run up. Look at all those green candles, right? However, we're not done just yet. So we still have to, remember, break through $267 and consolidate above it. Now, really, it would be amazing, okay, if after the press conference, we shoot past $267 and then simply retest and consolidate. Okay, so that's going to be the first pit stop that I'm going to be looking out for. Popcat, I'm not happy, but we're still holding in there. Okay, we really need to break above 35 cents. And that is simply the first pit stop. But guess what? We've been dealing with this for about 1.5 years, about 18 months. So, the Popcat community has been very patient, but, we really haven't seen any crazy sell off. So far, looking so good. Um, but we'll have to wait and see. Next, Troll. So Troll actually ended up buying a little more, just because I saw that we got a rejection off the 18-cent line, and then now we're approaching the 13 cents support line. So I preemptively bought in because I didn't know if we're quite going to hit 13 cents ahead of the Fed press conference, because there's a high likelihood that we might bounce back up. And that's really based on this candlestick right here, a longer shadow to the downside. And now that we've formed real bodies, okay, filling in that long shadow, now we don't need to retrace further. In fact, we can start moving up unless we're going to fill this price as well. Okay, so that's the only tricky part. And if that is the case, we're going to go down all the way to 11 cents. And on my previous video, I sort of drew like um, like a very simple sketch of when I'll be buying into Troll a little more heavily. And that is really not going to come until we're above 18 cents. So, and today is a bit of a slow day. I feel like people are preparing ahead of the Wednesday press conference. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll get more updates later this week. So, please subscribe if you're into Solana, especially. But Popcat, Troll Coins, those are the major ones that I'm covering right now. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.